Welcome to RPG Book Club. On today's episode, Summer Vacation continues. Hello and welcome to the RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play long games together and discuss them in the moment. I'm Sam Allman.
I'm Michael Rodriguez.
I'm Elias Warren.
And today we'll be talking about the month of August from Persona 3. And when I say we'll be discussing the month of August, I pretty much mean we'll be discussing August 6th and August 8th.
It's basically this episode is our diary entries of the month, because that's how much this game happened. This
month. Like on a gameplay level, I guess we can jump in right there. Like this month has like no plot going on, and on a gameplay level, that's pretty cool. This is like the first time you're really let off the rails to do whatever you want to do. Like you don't even like have to go to school type thing. Like everything is really open. There's not a whole lot of plot going on. They do a couple things to make it not as boring, where like instead, like normally on exam weeks, you just like wake up on Monday and then you wake up on Friday and your exams are over. This one, they did the same thing with summer school in the middle. So they do a couple things to like speed up the month. But for the most part, you wake up and you do whatever you want for the entire day. And then you come back to it later. So it's like gives you people the opportunity to catch up on social links, to like really grind through Tartarus if they need to. There's not a lot of times for people in the game to be like, oh hey, you have to do this tonight, or I'm taking control away from you to do something. Like everything is at your own pace. Even there's a part later where there's a film festival, and like every day you can take a different person in your party to go to the film festival. That isn't even a required thing. Like you can just walk right past, which I accidentally did to Fuka because I saved in the middle and I forgot what I was doing, and I just left and went and did a social link. And then the next day she was like, yeah, I had to go to the film festival by myself, but I had a good time. And I'm like, oh damn it. But even that, you're not required to do any of that, which is really cool and like refreshing for this game. The only thing that like I could see being a sticking point is all of the social links that I have access to outside of school require something that happens in school, except for Mamoru, which we just got. So I guess in the worst case scenario, Mamoru and Maya, like you could have played hung out with Mamoru on every day that wasn't that Maya was online or wasn't online type thing. Like you could do those and get through the month and have stuff to do. But it just like, because like the old people, you have to go to the persimmon tree at school. Noizumi needs some food that you can get at school. Like Maiko, you get her Mad Bull from school. And like there's a lot of stuff that happens at school that unlock these extracurricular social links that are missables. And so there's a world out there in which somebody's first playthrough of Persona 3, they missed all of these things, and then August was a bunch of machinee to study it or something.
I like this part of the game because what it does is it allows you to like, it kind of adds an openness to the mechanic in the world that wasn't there before. Like you're suddenly given like a whole month, and from a design perspective, like you're a student and you suddenly have all this free time on your hands, and it really aligns with that, which I'm kind of into.
Yeah. It's just when we're trying to discuss the intricacies of the plot, this episode is probably going to maybe push an hour, and that's about it.
I will tell you, I played it as Eli's real life simulator and played way too much of Innocent Sin Online.
Great. Yeah. I'm not mad at that though. That seems like I wish I could do that in this game. I'm going to see if I can if I'm able to do it, because I couldn't even I can't find where this computer is to use. It's really weird.
It should be right in your room. I don't know how it works in the PSP version, but you just turn to your desk and talk to it.
Yeah, it should be there, but it's not. I don't know why.
Weird. Yeah, I spent the entire vacation just hanging out with Maya, and we'll talk about that.
You've done more of her than I did.
I hit level 10 with her. Okay. So yeah, I know who she is.
Wow, you weeb.
Hey,
I told you.
Wow, we're not even like close to the end of the goddamn game, Eli. What is happening? Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
So she's not on the female path. The Hermit Arcana is the librarian. So that's why you have the librarian. You don't get Maya.
Yeah, that's what I figured, because I remember seeing the Hermit and going like, oh, wait a minute. That was the MMO. But I really did like the MMO storyline a lot.
Yeah. So we'll just go ahead and jump in to starting on the 6th is the first thing that happens this month. So the 6th is the full moon, and Fuka senses the shadow near some abandoned houses in Iwatodai, but it's underground 10 meters, and there's no basements in the area, but there could be a bunker there from that Mitsuru says it seems war scars may be deeper than we think, which definitely sounded like fuck Whitey for bombing us. We've really never got over it. And I
was just gonna say, which I don't blame them for.
I don't blame them for it at all. So we make our way out to the bunker, and Takaya, aka Jesus of Jesus Some Nerd and the Lolita.
It's like Stoner Jesus is what he looks like.
Yeah, he's Stoner Jesus.
Yeah.
He's waiting for us when we get there. He introduces his group as Strega and says that they're going to stop us from stopping the Dark Hour. Stuff we had already seen because we're an omniscient high schooler, I guess. we keep seeing all these things that there's no way we should know. Takaya says that the Dark Hour is the birthright of Persona users, and who cares what happens to the Lost, because quote unquote there will always be disasters. And
okay, that's the response. Is like, all right, sure, I guess. Like, if that's how you feel, because at that point, like, we don't have a build up for who these characters are. We just see them shoot someone in the back, maybe, or at least that's what it looked like on my end, even though we saw it. And then they're just like, let's let everybody die. Who gives a shit? You know, like it's just so. It's disorienting when you don't know why they're doing what they're doing.
With the current political climate, with like all this talk about gun control and stuff, like it really made me like hate Takaya and like have a face to put on all of the nameless comments that I've seen like on the internet. It's like there's always disasters. There's nothing we can do to prevent the apathy syndrome from happening. Mm-hmm. So we should just be able to have our AR personas. And it definitely like made me like for a spoilers, we're over halfway done with everything that happened on this dungeon, but for a dungeon that nothing happened, it had like the most political like stuff to it. So like I don't know if you guys found all the diaries in the dungeon or not, but there's diaries, and it's all people talking about how shitty it was when like the water was radioactive in the 40s and shit. And it was like really cool, just like fuck Whitey, and also the bad guys just don't care if disasters happen. They just want their own power.
I didn't see really any notes in that dungeon at all. Like I couldn't click anywhere. I tried.
I have picked them up, but I don't know how to read them. So.
They weren't things to read. They were on the table. So the dungeon's layout, by the way, is another hallway, but this one has rooms that jut out on each side of it, like the spines of the feet. In those spines, like in every single one, there's something you can click on, and there's a diary open. So you open the diary, and it's like, dear diary, today the white people fucked us over again, and stuff like that. And so most of them were variations on the same theme of like war really, really sucks, and I wish that I was with my family. Lots of depressing war diary stuff. But as far as the feeling of the dungeon that gave me was really cool. I just wish that would have been a dungeon and not another hallway, which like it's so like weird for me, because JRPGs are typically a loose story that gets you from dungeon to dungeon, and Persona 3 is doing that, but the story is the important part and the dungeons aren't. And so it's like the fights are important, but and like the plot that happens around them, but the actual dungeon is like there's not a fire temple, there's not an ice temple and stuff like that. It's like it's just this is the place where you're going to fight a shadow, and it's kind of cool.
I actually feel like the dungeon design is in two parts, right? I feel like part of it is partially that they want to give. I don't know very many JRPGs that really give a good sense of dread and horror, right? Mm-hmm. And there are certain parts of Persona 3 that give a sense of dread and horror surrounding the idea of death, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really prevalent theme that sticks out when we're kind of like going through a lot of these dungeons. And so it was one of the first games that I played that introduced like just really creepy, weird, empty hallways that you're not really sure what's in them. And mm-hmm. At first I was kind of, not turned off by them. I was surprised by them, and then I started to really appreciate them for the effect. Like when I let it be creepy to me is when I was cool with it. Mm-hmm. And I do really enjoy it because I feel like they purposely use the dungeons as like a conduit for a direct tone for the story. It's like kind of gives you the answer for immediately how you should feel without ever thinking about it. Like mm-hmm. you just know that you're in a dark, creepy hallway by yourselves. There are not shadows. There aren't places to explore. It gives you one direction, and you like have to walk that path. And mm-hmm. I like that effect. I don't know if I sound like crazy.
And like thinking back on the two hallway dungeons that we have, they're very thematic in the same sort of way you were talking about. The first one, you're strapped into a train barreling down, and there's no stopping it. So of course there's no exploration or anything you have to do there. Like the design of the dungeon is a straight line because like that's how you're traveling. That's the emotion that they're evoking, is just the like on railsness of it all. Mm-hmm. And then
this being on rail,
this one is like there's a lot of options for you to go and do. Like there's a lot of rooms, but they don't ever go anywhere. The only place you can go is forward, which also like with the inevitability of death and the horrors of war and stuff, it's like everything else is a distraction. The only thing that does anything is to move on, which like is almost an optimistic undertone of the creepiness of the this is a lot of like irradiated dead bodies strapped in here in a mm-hmm. weapons depot. And it's like saying that like really makes me think that, okay, I don't mind the like simple narrative techniques that they're doing. And it's not like you don't get a crap load of dungeoneering every time you go into Tartarus. So like the gameplay of the dungeons and stuff is there. It's just not the story set pieces that they usually are in most games.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they make a very intentional job in what is a dungeon and what's story, and these events are like the hybrids that we get in between. Mm-hmm. And that where they bring story and dungeon together in a really kind of creepy and unique fashion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So speaking of this dungeon, before we moved on out of it, because there's not a lot left, I did want to bring up the music, because this music it's so like I'm pretty much going to find a way to talk about every new track that we hear in the whole game. Just so I can
that's great.
I can put a sample of the entire soundtrack by the time we're done. But the music in this dungeon was really frantic in like a really awesome way. And so I really liked it, and I'll drop that in right here. But at the end of the tunnel that we get to, we finally fight the shadows, and Fuka senses that there's two shadows, but only one of them's one of them's there in front of us, and it's a tank, which she realizes is actually she realizes that it's two shadows, and after you beat up the tank enough, it separates to be two shadows, one's Chariot and one's Justice. And my only note on the battle, because I was playing on easy still, was that Justice was really, really cute, and I would love a plushie of the Justice boss.
Oh, it was super adorable.
Wait, which one was Justice? The one with the wings and Gatling gun?
Yeah,
it was the little bitty one.
Bucket helmet.
Yeah, that looks like something straight out of Bayonetta.
Yeah,
it looked like a little baby angel with a Gatling gun. That was Bayonetta. That's what that was. It was great.
It reminded me of Shovel Knight, just because like there's a lot of like, they've got those little tiny sprite designs with like little tiny arms and legs, and then these big ass helmets on, and it made me think of that.
How was the fight, Eli?
On normal mode, it was, again, a war of attrition. Again, I was probably under level because I gained 2 levels from it. I did have a couple of times. So I found out when they separate, if you don't kill them in the exact same turn together, one of them is going to revive the other, and they'll be at full health again.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So it took me a few tries, but I finally got it to the point where I could kill them both in the same turn if they were separated.
I don't think you had to do it separated, though. I think when you killed one, like if you brought one to 25% health and you killed one before, it would revive it and then merge it. Like for me, it merged them together and brought the average of both of those health. So I had like them merged together 3 times before I killed it because I killed one of them too early. So they recovered, like both of them recovered health. And then when they split, they shared that health pool. And then they just split it.
Well,
and then,
I had them low enough that they were both very, very low. They were like hovering around 2 to 5% or something like that. I was trying very hard to make sure that, we would kill both of them in the same turn, but
It sounds like a really awesome boss mechanic that I'm really upset that they split up once and then I killed them, because not only am I playing on easy where the bosses are easier, I'm like level 39 right now. Like I am like 10 levels higher than you guys.
Jeez.
So like I purposely only went into Tartarus to get the next old document from the staircase for that quest. And then I left.
That was what I was thinking of when you mentioned things that were around the dungeon. I was thinking of the old documents.
I have no idea how to read them either. I haven't really thought about it. I'm sure I will one of these days and be like, oh my gosh, this is actually like such good flavor, and bring it up on the podcast, but I just haven't done it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting fight. It had a different mechanic from the other ones. And yeah, I mean, it was nice that their health kind of would equalize when they came together.
But not just start the whole battle over every 2 turns or whatever. Right.
But yeah, having them fully heal up the other one, it was very frustrating. It reminded me of the there's a fight in Siege of Orgrimmar in WoW where the corrupted Pandaren will do that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember that because I barely play WoW.
LOL. Okay.
So after the battle, we see Ikutsuki, and he's at his he's at the dorm, and he gets a call from Mitsuru, who tells him what happened with Strega, and then he sends somebody to get them out of the bunker. And that was all of the plot that took place with that dungeon. It was just, hey, we don't like you, we're going to lock you in. And then we fought somebody, and then we got out. And that was it. So then on the 7th, Pharaoh shows up to be our friend, and he says that the end doesn't happen because of one person, but it happens because everyone wants it, and it's been destined from the start. Really cryptic. And then he says, the poisonous flowers will bloom, 1 in our garden and 3 in the opposite garden, which seems like the poisonous flowers will affect Strega because there's 3 of them, but then somebody in our party will get fucked up as well. And I think it could be Akihiko because he's been having a lot of like trouble with Shinji lately, but it could also mean Shinji. But Akihiko is the only like weak link in that regard that I could see going on. But it really, like, there's a case to be made with anybody, so I'm excited to see who that could be.
I was thinking Yukari.
Yeah, I can see that
partially
too.
Because like how fearful she is, and she may harbor resentment toward Mitsuru because of what happened to her father, or toward she doesn't want this to be a thing in general. We had that talk with her out on the beach, and she was really upset about the whole situation. The other thought I had was Junpei.
Yeah, I could see Junpei, especially with what happens after this, where he hangs out with
Lolita.
Yeah, Lolita. We learned her name finally, but it's Lolita. Chidori, that's it. Yeah, so it could be him, but I don't know. And I also don't know what the poisonous flowers will bloom means. It could be something bad happens. It could mean somebody dies. Like, it could just be those 3 people are going to die and one of your party members is going to die. Like, it's really cryptic at this point. I'm not sure what it means or what, but it feels like it'll be one of your friends will go bad.
I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but I'm really loving hearing your hypothesis. I want you guys to remember that you guys asked yourself these questions later.
Yeah. That's your job, is to subtly remind us that we were nowhere near right when it happened. So on the 8th, your phone rings and Elizabeth says that Tartarus is open, and then Mitsuru knocks on your door and says that we have a meeting on the 4th floor tonight. I did notice that day that if you go to the item shop, or the weapon shop, you can buy everyone's vacation outfits for 300,000 yen, which is a lot of money. But if you wanted Mitsuru to relive her vegan Hawaiian beach spirit realness, you could at a low price of 300,000 yen.
Not a lot.
So the meeting that night is that Koromaru is healthy and he has a collar version of the Evoker, and he's going to be moving in with us, and it's the main character's job to walk him, and I've never done that. And then Aiga says that he says, I'll return the favor, meaning that he'll save us because we saved him, which means that he's the best pupper. He's the best pupper in the whole world.
He's good doggo.
Then as we're all riding high on getting a good doggo, Mitsuru then says that we're all going to summer school next week, which is completely dumb, and it brings us all back down. So then on the 10th, summer school starts, and you get a +1 to academics every day, just automatically. It just like takes you through, and then you get a +5 on academics when you're done, which is really cool. On the last day of summer school, Ikoda says that he'll be teaching things about the tarot cards starting the 2nd semester in his office, which I think will be things
No, that was Itogawa, not Ikoda. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you're right. What's the other one? No, it was the other one. I just wrote the wrong name in my notes. Yeah, so he'll say he'll teach tarot cards in his office. He's the nurse. So
I read his description of them though, and it gives you a lot of insight on the characters themselves.
Yeah, so it like the way he was describing it in class was talking about like what the kinds of people who respond to the Chariot Arcana, etc. are, and then he tells like the story that the tarot cards tell, and then what it sounds like he'll be teaching you in his office will be like different ways that fusion works and different things like that, because like I was talking about the relationships between them all, and the only time we relationship between tarot cards whatsoever is when we're fusing personas. So I think that might be what it's about. I haven't checked them out yet. I don't actually know. That's just what it sounds like is going on. But I need to remember to follow up on that now that school's back in session. But so on the 15th, summer school is over. On the 16th, the summer festival happens. Elias, did somebody ask you to go to the festival with them?
Yuko did. I've
Yuko
hung
did?
out with her all of once, and he called me and was like, "You want to go to the festival?" And I was just like, "Yeah, sure, I guess so."
It's so what it probably is like the things to start your romance points with Yuko are like right there towards the beginning, and you can't start earning them with like Yukari and other girls and stuff until after vacation.
I don't know how. I still don't know how to earn any points toward the other girls.
So all of it is it's looks like a social link, but it's the stuff that you say. Well, instead of like you'll get +1 social link point, but you also might get +1 romance point. So if like say for Yuko, there's a thing where it's she's like, oh man, I'm so exhausted today. You could be like, it's okay, you have to stick through it, or you're exhausted, you should try harder. And then one that's like, I think you look great. The first one and the last one will both get you a plus social link point, but the last one has the romantic inflection to it and will also get you a plus romance point.
Okay.
So then like when they call you on Sunday and are like, hey, do you want to come out? A lot of those give you more opportunities to get romance points, but not necessarily social link points. So because I was following along on Yuko, the guide for Yuko, because I'm a cheating cheater. I got to something that felt like a social link, and so I looked up like, hey, when she asks me this, what do I say? And it wasn't on her list of social links. It just was a date, and it let me say things there to keep our relationship good. So you probably have 1 or 2 relationship points with Yuko and none for anybody else, or she might just be the default one where like because you're part of her club, it might just be like, okay, she's the default, and only if you have a different girlfriend. Or because I got Yuko too, it could just be Yuko calls you and goes to the thing. It definitely was date-ish with me. Like she was asking like, did I think that her yukata would look good on her? We got takoyaki, everything was really cute.
We did the same.
Yeah, so I don't know. The next important thing that happens is on the 17th, and it's only on the 17th because I went on the 17th, but I went to Tartarus and I brought Koromaru with me, and when he initiates an all-out attack, he just says, and it's so
my favorite thing about Koromaru is that he has like the only best things to add to a conversation, which is like ARF, and I'm like, yeah, that's there. I'm not gonna get mad at this. This is great dialogue. This is what we paid for. You know, like this is
best dialogue in a video game 2018.
I'll take Koromaru saying rough over the entire month of July any day. So the next thing that happens is on the 20th, where we're zooming through. We are 28 minutes into this podcast, and we are almost done with the month. We're on day 20 already.
Yep.
So on the 20th, Junpei sees the Lolita girl at Port Island Station, and she's sketching something, and he can't tell what it is, and she's like, it's for me to know, and you have to find out. And that's the end of the scene. So then on so that day or that week is when the was when the film festival starts, and you have the opportunity to go with a lot of your social links around then, which is really cool. I went that week. I went with Keisuke and Yuko and Bebe. Did you go with anybody else?
I went with Yuko and Kazushi. Kenji called me and asked me to go to a movie, but I was like, I'm already at max social link with you. I don't fucking care. Because I didn't know it wasn't going to be an actual social link thing. So I was like, no, I'm not going to the movies with you. We're already best friends. It doesn't matter.
We're best friends forever. That forever means no matter what.
That sounds just like what friends say in real life. That's so crazy. It's so crazy. Wow, this is like such a meta game. God.
You're my closest friend in the world. What, you think I'm going to do stuff with you? Fuck that.
Right.
On the 24th, Kin-kun is at Iwatoda Station, and he's coming out of the manga store, and he hears Akihiko and Shinji talking, and Shinjiro is like, I don't want to come back. There's nothing you can do to make me do it. And Akihiko says, and I'm paraphrasing, but he says that Koromaru is a better person than Shinji because Koromaru is fighting shadows despite his bad memories that involve them. And kind of a dig at Shinji. It's like, yeah, bad shit happened to you, but like a dog can get over it. Why can't you?
A dog is a better human being than you are.
That's really fucking rough. That's like real shade. Jesus Christ.
It was rough. I see what you did there.
Wow, I should have played that up. Wow. Missed opportunity.
So Akihiko then says that they're the same as Koromaru because him and Akihiko saw something they love die in front of their eyes 2 years ago, and Shinji says that it's all his fault. Then the camera pans back up to Ken, who's like, wait, 2 years ago? Could it be? And if you don't remember, Ken's mom died 2 years ago, and he's been a ward of the state ever since then. So maybe Miki, their friend, was Ken's mom, is what it's looking like is happening. Because the next thing that happens on the 28th is that Mitsuru says we have a meeting with his Kutsuki, just like the one with Koromaru. This time it's with Ken, and Ken joins your squad. And he says some stuff like when he's saying he wants to do it, he's like, I'm involved in this too, yada, yada, yada. Makes me think that those last 4 days, Ken was like, I really think Akihiko watched my mom die, and I gotta get in on this. So the second week of the film festival, you take all of your party members, and all of them are pretty just like you go there and they have some little character moment. My favorite ones that I went to was Koromaru and I
didn't know you could take Koromaru.
Of course,
so you take on the 26th is when you could take Koromaru, and when you go downstairs, him and Aigis are talking, and you talk to Aigis, and she's like, Koromaru says that he really wants to do something today, and if he can't do it today, there's no other chance for him to do it. Do you have any idea what he's talking about? And then it says, take Koromaru to the movies, ? And you can click yes. I take him with you. So we go to the movies, and I tell the guy there that it's just a realistic looking doll, and he doesn't believe us and kicks us out. So Koromaru is really, really sad. So I tell him that I'll buy it on DVD and we can watch it together next month.
That's adorable.
Which is so cute. And then the other one I liked was when you go with Aigis, she you watch a bunch of ninja movies, and she decides that being a ninja is the thing that she should strive for, and she thinks that they're the best form of humanity that's ever existed. And she says that instead of calling me Bash Sama, well, my character's name is Bash, instead of calling me Bash Sama, she's going to call me Bash Ninja, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah, like you're okay. Sure.
So then on the 29th, Junpei sees the Lolita again, and he asks to see her drawing when she's done. Then on I think it's the 31st. I didn't jot it down because it's just the same thing again. But Junpei sees
on that day.
He runs into her one more time, and she's like, "Oh, hey, my name is Chidori, and I'll show you my picture when I'm done," or something. Like they have like a friendly-ish moment.
She's also bleeding, which Junpei notices.
Oh yeah,
and he kind of freaks out. But she's just like, what? What are you so freaked out about? Like, it's like she doesn't even know she's bleeding, even though he's telling her over and over, you're bleeding, you're bleeding, you're bleeding. She just is completely unfazed by it.
Yeah. So then on the 1st, you have the first day of school, and this semester we have new school music, which is exciting. And I'll drop that in right
really
here.
Great.
It's
really
so great.
enjoyed this music. It also sounds like someone speaking French in the background of the music. I know a small amount of French from high school, but just based on the inflection and everything, that was how it sounded.
Then after school, before we could save, Igus is in a school uniform, and she says that she wants to go to school as a junior, and everyone's like, won't that cause a lot of problems? And she was like, I will correct the problems that it causes. And you're like,
I will correct them.
Like, what do you even say that? You're like, okay, yeah, sure, you're going to school. Okay, cool.
Right,
Like,
great.
you have guns for hands. I'm not going to tell you no. So then Koromaru also says that he wants to go to school, but they don't let him. They let the robot girl go to school, but they don't let Best Pupper go to school with
They
us.
couldn't just dress him up as a service dog. I mean, come on.
Right? So that's all of the plot that happened for this month. All of the days in between we spent on social links. And we figured since this was going to be a short episode overall, we could go in and talk about the social links that we've done so far. I finally finished Mutatsu, the monk. I finished him like right off the bat when the month started. And his 10th rank was really awesome. So remember last time I talked about how there was a time where he got really shit-faced and he thought that I was his son and stuff. Well, the couple of them since then, he's sober and he's like, I'm going to close the monastery as a monastery, since he's the only monk there. Just like close it to the public, turn it into his house, and ask his wife and son to come and live with him, because he knows that his depression is bad, because even on his best day, he still has to do a funeral every day. And so he's constantly reminded with death and sadness like every day. So he doesn't have the chance to like cope with his own grief, because he's just assaulted with it every day. And he's like, I think this is the winner. This is how I'm going to get my wife back, all of that stuff. And then that was rank 9. So rank 10, he finally found his wife and kid. He's had a private investigator trying to find him, and he finds them, and his son is married and his wife is pregnant, and he had no idea that he was going to be a granddad. And he says that instead of inviting them to come to the monastery, he's going to go and be proactive about it and try and be the dad and husband that he should have been all along. And so he just was waiting in the club for me to tell me goodbye, and then he left and never came back. But I got rank 10 on my social link, so
whatever.
But yeah, like overall, like I've really liked his the most, because it had like, it wasn't like telling me about an oh fuck moment. Like Kinji told me about like the shit that was happening with him and Emery, and so like that was like him telling it. And then there was the little bit where like you go and you talk to her, and you see that she was playing him or whatever. Like that has a little bit of the oh shit moment on it. But Mutatsu, like you're trapped in this depressed drunk man calling you his son, and you like have to deal with that. And I loved it. Like I don't think I've ever played anything like that in a video game before. Since then, like since last week, I have, because I'm playing through The Witcher 3, and there's a long period where you find out that this guy's wife had a miscarriage, and it was all the guy's fault, and he's just been a drunk since then.
Wow.
So it's like this week has been a lot of depressing shit for me. But yeah, I really liked Mutatsu. What about you, Eli? What was one of the ones you liked a lot?
Okay, so as far as what I liked, I got done with Kazushi at the very end of the month. I actually hung out with him last on September 1st, but that was the last one I needed to get to rank 10 with him. He decided to get surgery.
Fucking finally.
Yeah. Like I talked to him about it, and he's like, yeah, I've decided to get the surgery. And my character's like, so are you okay with this? Because, you're going to miss the meet because of it. And he's like, you know what? I've come to terms with that. I'm not really going to be able to do what I want to do unless I get the surgery. So it's better in general if I just do it. And my character was just like, all right, great. And that was it. He's done it. He made the right choice. I'm very proud of him. I did.
That's good.
So coming into August, I was rank 4 with Maya. I hit rank 10 with her, and I hate her.
Oh wow! Tell me about it.
Okay.
I have dates almost every Sunday, so I don't think I'm going to finish her this playthrough.
Yeah. So like I said, this month was Eli's real life simulator, and by that I mean I stayed at home and played video games for most of it. I missed out on most of the film festival because I didn't realize, like, I was like, I'm going to take Yukari and Mitsuru and it's going to be great and I'm going to get romantic with them. But no, that's not what happens. That's not what happens at all. So fuck it. I'm going to hang out with Maya and I'm going to get my special link up. So
I feel it.
To start, the first time I hung out with her in August, she mentioned a Mr. E being an SOB and that he's a teacher with seniority over her. And I immediately went, she's talking about Akota.
Yep.
Maya teaches composition. That's the next thing I learned. Even wrote in there, I can't remember the teacher's name, but I think I already know who it is. And then she mentioned her best friend, who was apparently this just like super slut woman who like used men, and one of her students proposed to her, and
oh shit.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she's talking about Kano.
Yeah.
And how like she had been proposed to by this guy she didn't like or whatever, and how she pads her bra. Like she went on and on and on about padding her bra. Now, I will say, before I keep going with this, I do, like, at the very end, I'm okay with Maya, but I still think that she's creepy. So after she had bitched a whole bunch about Ms. Kano, she then starts to talk in the next meeting about being interested in a teenage student. And I wrote, okay, starting to not get cool again. And then as she kept talking, she was talking about how he was quiet and intense looking, and I went, oh no, is she in love with me? No. He just transferred in this year after his parents died. I will comfort him. And I wrote, no, it's me, fuck.
And that is so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
what like, not to stop it, what would you do in real life if you find out, like, through context clues that you're like Guildmaster on World of Warcraft works with you, and then they open up that they're in love with you?
That's a weird
like,
question.
I would literally log out.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a weird question because my current guild leader is my ex.
Oh my god,
she's like my best friend. So hi, if you're listening to this, Fox.
Jeez.
Yeah, like I couldn't even imagine, like, because that's one of those things where it's like, not to get too referential outside, but fuck it, we have time today. So last episode, or the episode before last, on RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars, there's these two queens that like have had a beef with each other for like a week and a half before that. Shangela and Trixie. Trixie is like a really, really popular drag queen. She like hosts like 3 shows on Logo TV. She has like her own blog and YouTube channel. Like, she's very, very popular. So when they get to the end of the episode, Shangela gets to pick who's going home, and she phrases everything about who she wants to send home as if it could be talking about Trixie. She ends up doing someone else, but she's like, this queen like has a lot ahead of her. Like, I know she's going to bounce back on her feet. Like, if anybody can handle this disappointment, it's her. And like all these things, and you can see on Trixie's face that just like, oh God, it's me. Oh God, what do I do? I don't know what to do here. It's me. I know that it's me. And like that moment is like what's going on in the social link with Maya right now. You're just like, oh God, it's me.
Like you're just like hung in suspension. Like, she's giving you all of these hints, and you're like, well, it can't be that person. It can't be that. It's me. And it's like, it's really weird. It's
funny too, because I have a bunch of friends who I go to their house every other Sunday for what we call a girly anime night, where we specifically watch anime. The rule is we watch anime where the main female protagonist is as important or of greater importance to the main male protagonist. That's the rule that it has to follow. So we started watching one called Recovery of an MMO Addict. And in this show, this woman starts playing this male character in an MMO. She's a NEET. She's just quit her job. So a NEET, by the way, means not an education, not an education, employment, or training. So it's someone who, like, it's your garden variety guy who sits in his parents' basement and eats Cheetos and plays video games all day. It's that.
Got it.
So she's a NEET. She's just quit her job. She makes a male character in an MMO, meets a female character in an MMO. They hit it off. They get to be really close friends. Turns out they know each other from a previous MMO, but as the opposite genders. And the whole time, like, they're like, the main character is getting asked out by the best friend of this person who plays a female character in the MMO, and like she starts falling in love with this person who plays the female character but doesn't know that they're a guy in real life, so she starts questioning her own sexuality, all that sort of thing. And it very much reminded me of that when I started going through this with Maya. So yeah, I like, if my character was, you know, college age, it would still be weird because teacher, but less weird because not a minor.
Yeah.
Right.
My next note after it's me fuck is, why are all the teachers in my school so terrible?
Right.
She follows it up with, Elias Kuhn will fall in love with me before the weekend. Heart. Yeah, I just put a crying face. I'm just like, no. So after that interaction, the next one that had any significance was a message from the creators of Innocent Sin Online saying, you know, we've had a really good run, but unfortunately we've found that our subscriber numbers are not enough to keep ourselves above water. We're going to have to shut the game down. And I'm just like, oh no, they're shutting the game down. Now I won't get to talk to my creepy teacher in game anymore. How sad. And like,
so very sad.
I mean, like other social links, I just kept telling her things she wanted to hear. So, you know, she was talking about, she wanted to put together all of the conversations that we've had in game and send that to the creators of Innocent Sin so they could see that, you know, this was really helpful for us. And it was really nice of us to be able to converse like this. In the final interaction, the rank 10 that got me there and I'm done with it forever, she comes back and she says, I'm so sorry. And I was like, why? And at first I was like, well, I know why you're sorry, because you said a lot of shitty things. But I was just like, oh no, why are you sorry? And she starts explaining, well, you know, I was looking over the chat logs of everything that we talked about as I was compiling it to send to this company, and I realized I said some really awful stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking did. Yeah. But she's like, you know, I came on this game, I made friends with you, and I spent that whole time just bitching about people around me. And instead of, you know, enjoying the game with you, I got drunk, I bitched about my coworkers, you know, and I feel awful about it. And I'm really sad that we're not going to get to see each other again. But I think it's best if I not send this along. You know, we'll have our memories of what we went through together. You know, and who knows, maybe I'll see you in real life. And then that was it. And she left me a message in the sand that said, I love you. And I'm like, that's weird, but whatever. I'm done. We're done. I don't ever.
You're done.
Yeah. I don't ever have to talk to you again. And if you propose to me in game, I will drop you. Yeah, I was just like, good, this is over. I don't have to do this anymore. Like, this is a second social link I've been through that has been incredibly awkward and uncomfortable for me. And I'm like, well, there was one point too where she mentioned some guy who talks like a woman or something like that, which I'm guessing means in Japanese he's using feminine pronouns and things like that. He's using very effeminate speech patterns, like saying watashi.
I have a social link with that guy, and he's not like he's not played as like gay or anything. Like he's
okay.
so, it's not problematic at all. Like I forgot that she referred to him as that because like when I talked to him, if anything, he's like ultra businessman to me.
So I started trying to talk to him, but my charm wasn't high enough. I have gotten it high enough since then, so I'm smooth now. But it still worried me when he was like, "Oh, well, you need to have your charm higher. You can't talk to me." And I'm like, "It wants me to be smooth. All right, please don't make me go out with this guy because first of all, if this is like a bad queer representation, again, I'm going to be mad. Secondly, he is super old."
Yeah, no, it's so what happens is he wants you to be smooth because he's looking for models because he's the president of the home shopping network that you can watch in your dorm. And so he's looking for models, and he's trying after he finds out that you're smooth enough, he's trying to see if you're business savvy enough, and he asks you for 20,000 yen, and I gave it to him because that was pocket change for me at this point, and so then he was like, okay, I have to go invest this, and I'll talk to you later. So the next time I saw him, he's like, so a lot of people pulled out of the project, so I need another 10 grand. But the good news is that your return on investment will be that much higher. And I'm like, sure, here's another 10 grand.
Fucking scamming you.
And then 2 days later, I see him again, and he is like, all right, this one's the last one. It's down to just me and you, but I need another 10 grand. And I'm like, okay, here you go.
Is he a televangelist?
And so then immediately he comes up. He's like, "You stupid idiot! Why are you giving a random person your money? Like you're not like I was hoping you would be smart, and you're not smart. You just gave me 40,000 yen. You gave me some 400 plus US dollars just because I asked for it. Like you're so dumb." So dumb for real. And so I'm just like, whatever. And so then he asks me if I want his autograph because he tells me who he is. And I'm like, no. And so then as I'm walking away, he's like, kids these days don't even want blah, 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 blah. And then he says something really sad. And so then you have the opportunity to walk away or come back to him. And you come back to him and he's like, you're like, hey, I heard that. Like, tell me about your feelings or whatever. And he's like, you're an okay kid. You can come back and talk to me anytime. And then you get a social link with him. That's as far as I've gotten.
It was just 40,000 yen back.
He does not. He's like, because of things outside of my control, I can't give it back to you. But you should know never to give money to random people again.
Yeah. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
What a terrible lesson to learn.
Voting Sam is most likely to be scammed IRL so far.
Yeah, really.
So, back in like 6th or 7th grade, the only MMO that I had ever played was MapleStory. So I had no idea that people on the internet are terrible.
I know where you're going with this.
I probably had the same issue.
And so I was grinding on some fucking mushrooms somewhere. And this guy comes up and is talking to me. And I mentioned that this is my first MMO. I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having a lot of fun. And he's like, did you know you can dupe all of your items and then go sell the dupes and make a lot of money and then get the good rare items off the auction house? And I'm like, that sounds like a great idea. How do you do that? And he's like, well, what you need to do is put your entire inventory in a trade window. And then you press tab space enter as fast as you can, and then that will dupe your items. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I do it, and tab selects trade. He jumps into the trade window. Space brings up the "Are you sure you want to trade?" and then enter confirms it. And I just gave him all of my shit, and then I was left naked in the middle of a dungeon on MapleStory. So. Yeah, I am the most likely to be scammed in real life.
People in MapleStory are brutal. I had a situation where I was in the Orbis area as a relative noob. And I mean, I was high enough. I was in my 30s, so I was high enough level to be there. And someone links it's just like a trash drop from a pixie or something, but it looked really shiny. And they were like, this is a super important item and it costs 50,000 mesos. If you have that much, I'll give it to you. It's actually usually much more expensive. And so I was like, all right. And I gave him 50,000 mesos. And then it turned out it was a piece of trash. And I was like, oh.
Oh.
The same exact thing literally happened, like that Sam went through. I experienced. It was the worst. I was like, okay, I can't do this game anymore. Bye.
And so, like, I went back to town to like try and like get some mesos and like get back on my feet. And I was like bitching to people there, and they're like, "Why would you ever think you could dupe items in an online game?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm 12. Leave me alone."
Literally, that's how I responded to it.
So yeah, back to this game and not an MMO from 10 years ago.
It's still
Just the
going.
game from 10 years ago.
That MMO is still going. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. So speaking of MapleStory, again, they like completely overhauled, and now it's like a story-based MMO. Like long about the time I was in college, they released their first hero class, which has its own campaign stories, which you were a dragon rider. But now, like that's the main thing is those types of stories. So like they released a mobile version of MapleStory, and I played it for a little bit, and like all of it was like plot heavy, where like you were playing a like character with a name and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
it was very,
really weird, and you can.
It's very different than it was.
You can
before.
still play the original adventures, but apparently that's not the draw at this point.
So I did a lot of like small social links where like I hung out with Maiko a couple of times. Like she introduced me to this guy who looks sick all the time, who's there on Sundays, and then we went and got takoyaki, and she remembers like feeding takoyakis to her dad and having a good time. She asks if her dad will come to her birthday party, and I tell her yes, but he probably won't, and I'm setting this girl up for failure. And that's really it. Like I didn't get very far with anybody, and I feel like when I only have like one or two per month, it's harder to talk about it because like, oh, I got a rank up with Keisuke, and all that happened was we went to music club together, and that was it, type thing. So I didn't do a lot. Was that all the social links you did? I know you maxed Kazu and you maxed Maya.
Kazu and Maya, and that was it.
I have nothing to report because like all my social links are like level 5 and 6.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys literally pounded at the social links. Holy shit! Like you guys like these
I want to
people.
fucking
Holy
get
crap.
this shit over with.
I played this game now. I have played this game now 3 times, and I have never got a social
You've
link.
never maxed the social link?
Not that fast. Not this fast. It's 2 months into the game. It's 2 months into the game.
5, dude. This is halfway through the game.
2 months into. I don't know. I have to work on it like 1 week, and I'll bring the drama then.
Like especially with the librarian and Rio. Like if you have the chance to hang out with other people, screw them. We don't care. We want the two that are unique to the female storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely.
Yeah. Well, this is.
Like
I mean, in any game where I have friendships that I have to build up, and my goal is to get them up as fast as possible, because usually when you get to the max level, that's it. You don't have to talk to that person anymore. That's one less thing you have to worry about and do.
Yeah.
Like that's my whole thing going into this. So like with Stardew Valley, like I make a plan. I'm going to, make sure that I have all the items that I need for everybody's birthdays. I'm going to make sure that I do the best I can in getting their favorite items so that I have it ready for their birthday, so that I get the max amount of friendship. I'm going to make sure I don't miss their birthday. I'm going to make sure I give them 2 gifts a week, and I'm going to get them maxed out as quick as possible, because then I never have to fucking talk to them again. This is not how I treat friends in real life. I would like to emphasize that. I love my friends. I talk to them often.
He's like, I will prove it to you. Be my fucking friend.
So Eli, I'm going to tell you something that Michael tells me almost every time we go to work together, where he says, I think you might be a little bit obsessive compulsive and you should probably talk to your therapist about it.
I do know at least I have a hoarding problem, but only in video games. If there's any proof of that, it's my house in Skyrim with chests just full of shit I've stolen. Just full to the brim. Like, I don't use this stuff. I steal it, I put it in a chest, and then I forget it's there.
That's
I
a
have
problem.
a barrel full of cheese wheels. But god damn it, I'm ready for that cheese wheel dungeon.
So that about wraps it up for this week. If you like what you hear, you can hit us up on Patreon at patreon.com/RPGbookclub. People who donate there can vote in polls when it comes time to decide what game we play next. And all the money you get offsets our hosting costs and helps us afford the new games that we can play. So we mostly are playing retro games right now because retro games are cheap. But if you want us to play Persona 5 or Xenoblade Chronicles 2, we would need the funds to be able to do that. We also can chat with us on our Twitter, which is primarily what we do right now is just retweet Persona memes. But we also post screenshots that we take of things in game.
When Eli remembers.
When Eli remembers. But you can chat us up there. That's at RPG Book Club on Twitter. But most of our conversation takes place on our Discord server. We're constantly talking about all things RPG, and that's usually the place where we announce things first. Like the two games we have coming up, which I guess we'll probably announce next episode and then open up the poll the episode after that. Fuck it, I'll announce it now.
Woo!
Yeah. So the next two the games that you can vote on our Patreon to for the next one we play is either going to be Rogue Galaxy or Okage the Shadow King. Poll will be up here in a week or two and then run till we finish the end of Persona 3, and that will let us know which one we're doing next. But the people in the Discord have known that for like 3 weeks now because that we'll just talk through things
because
in the
they're
Discord,
the cool people who hang out with us and love us. So if you want to be one of the cool people, you should join our Discord, and then you'll get to know these things.
I mean, like, but if you didn't, though, like, I'm never on the Discord because I'm just like, I never check. So, like, I won't be mad at you. I get you. You're busy. You're taking your time out of your day to listen to us once a week. And, you know, if you can't be on there, you're with us in our hearts.
That's true.
And that's the important part.
That is true.
Yeah. You are you listening to us is like audio social link. You know,
the wind beneath
every
our
single
wings.
time you listen to this, every single time you listen to us, your social link with the hermit increases. Congratulations. How do you feel about that? Great.
That would definitely be my social link. If I had no antenna, I would be the hermit.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So the link for that Discord is in the description of this episode. If you're listening on most podcasters, I think iTunes cuts that part out, but you can search for us on Discord. There's a link for it on our Twitter and our Patreon and stuff. So if you can contact us, I will give you a link no matter where you find us. That about wraps everything up. So for RPG Book Club, I've been Sam Allman.
I've been Michael Rodriguez.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
Oh yeah, Eli has forgotten this a couple times too. Follow him on YouTube.
Come see my
Watch
YouTube
his Let's
channel.
Plays.
I do video game Let's Plays with my partner Tuxedo Ken. We're currently very slowly playing through Earthbound, which I kind of hate, but we're doing it. We're getting through it. I've been meaning to play it for ages. So if you like watching people suck at video games, I'm your man.
Yeah. Instead of just listening to people suck at video games, you can watch it in real time.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
You know, I need to do that. I need to go ahead and catch up on some of your videos. Actually, Elon.
I'd love if you did.
Me too. I've only watched Undertale so far, so I have a backlog to get through. But so that's everything for the week. We'll see you next week sometime on September. No,
it'll be October 1st.
October 1st. My mom's birthday. So
nice.
We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.